2022, and Valheim is yet to be one of the newest and most engaging survival games, rising in popularity by the day. But with every new player that joins, there's times when progressing in an open world game like this seems a little bit confusing, especially since there's a lot of content already in the game. This is the Valheim Biome Progression Guide as of 2022. In Valheim, every world that's generated uses a different procedurally generated seed, kinda like Minecraft, giving every world a unique set of spawns, boss locations, and even biome locations. Despite the differences in these words and their layouts, the world still has the same set of biomes, which come with different resources, creatures, and even some boss fights to progress to the next one. We'll be listing the biomes with their different difficulties as it goes, and explain why it's even worth venturing off to these places in the first place. The general geography that Valheim uses is made up of a bunch of islands, which makes it so you can't necessarily just stroll across the world with your two legs. That's why there's ships. In total, there are 5 main biomes in Valheim that are fully loaded and accessible with progressional items. But there are also 4 biomes that are in the game that are not yet complete or doesn't really count as a progression biome. Those are still included in this list. We'll be starting off with the Meadows biome, which is also the biome where you spawn into. The Meadows are a very grassy area with forests, rivers, and beaches all around the place. The map actually replicates this pretty well, as seen here. Most of the basic resources like wood and fine wood for later progression can be found amongst the trees here. Other resources like rocks and even flint down by the beaches can be found in this biome too. In regards to food, you can find mushrooms and raspberries all over, and it's a good way to start gaining some health points early on. In terms of the creatures found here, they aren't really much of a threat. You can find creatures like boars, which are tameable and drop meat and hide, and even deers, which are used for armor sets, but they're a little hard to catch without sneaking up on them. Lastly, next are the other food source here, which can be usually found by the beaches and marshy looking areas amongst this biome. Now the main enemy that you want to look out for here are called Greylings, which is the easiest of the roaming monsters to deal with in this game, so enjoy it while you can. Lastly, the boss that you fight here to progress to the next one is known as Aether. When you kill him, he gives you a little pickaxe. The Black Forest is the second biome you'll find, which is most often connected to the Meadows biome either way, but you'll notice that they have a different type of tree than the first biome. On the map, there is also a visual difference that can be seen on it, seeing as it has darker grass. Inside the Black Forest biome, there are dungeons known as burial chambers where you can find these things called sterling cores. This is actually used for furnaces, kilns, and even portals later on, so this is important. The trees here are known as pine trees and fir trees. The main resource we're after here, which will lead you into the Bronze Age, is copper and tin, 2 of the ores, aka what the pickaxe is used for. You can't mine it until you actually kill Aether. Copper is found in piles like these, and tin is found around beaches. If you use the pickaxe on them, they'll drop you the raw ore, but be careful, these things are heavy. Now the creatures here are far more dangerous than the ones in the Meadows, such as the Grey Dwarfs, which is a more powerful variation of the Greyling that also comes in different forms. Skeletons who guard burial chambers are in them as well, and there are trolls which are like 4 times their size. Those things are a one-way ticket to death if you don't be careful. Lastly, the boss here is the Elder Boss that you can fight. It'll drop you some nifty keys. The Swamp biome is a much darker biome than the last 2 and shows up in the map as a dark brown area. We recommend creating a fermenter and making some poison potions because this place is unforgiving. The creatures here are where things rack up in difficulty. Monsters like blobs and leeches both give you poison when attacked. Draugrs will attack you with axes and bows, and even wraiths that come out at night will deal heavy heats of damage. To make things even worse, abominations hide amongst these trees. Yeah, that's what they're called, and they chase you down like it's nothing. Besides the concerns in this biome, there are also dungeons here known as sunken crypts. That's what the keys are used for. And if you luck out, you might even find the Bone Mass location, which is the boss in this biome. The Mountain biome, which is a biome that tends to be in smaller patches than some of the rest of them, and as you would have guessed, it causes a freezing effect over time if you don't wear something comfy. We recommend making some frost resistance meads. It uses the same fermenter, just a different recipe, and also maybe some warm clothing to deal with this biome. Trust and believe me when I say the creatures in there will not go easy on you just because you're freezing to death. They will exploit you. The creatures found here are wolves that basically just roam around the biome. There are also drakes that you have to look out for, which are flying creatures, and also be wary of a stone golem that you can end up finding up there, which is usually dormant until someone wakes it up. The resource you're looking for here is at this place called the Snowy Peaks, where you can find yourself some silver to get to the next age. Lastly, the boss you're looking for in this biome is called Motor. I probably butchered that name. And finally, the 5th on this list is the Plains biome, which is filled with yellow grass, hills, and rock formations alongside being one of the prettiest looking biomes amongst all of them. The Plains biome has creatures such as Fullings, which are kind of like goblins that have villages around the biome. You'll also find these things called Loxes, which is a tameable creature. It is gigantic though, so be very careful. Lastly, one of the most annoying of the creatures is this thing called death mosquitoes. I actually hate death mosquitoes. Plus, they're really difficult to hit, so they're honestly just the definition of a nuisance. Within the plains biome, you will also be summoning and defeating the boss Yagluth, which is also known as the final boss in Valheim as of right now. Beyond the 5 main biomes, we're gonna be going on to the 4 other biomes that the game still has, but doesn't have a lot of content within. The ocean biome. As you would have guessed, it's just the ocean, right? A massive body of water surrounding all of the islands of Valheim. You'll need to make a boat to even get across this thing, because swimming isn't really a very big thing in Valheim. Carry a threat known as the serpent that will attack you and your boat and anything that you have on top of the water, but the more passive creature in the ocean is known as the Leviathan. Moving on to the second one is the Mistlands biome. They're a little rarer and further out into the map. It's still in early development, but it's a biome that's supposed to have creepy woods covered with spider-like webs. It looks like something out of a horror movie, to be honest. There are enemies planned out for the Mistlands and aren't yet known what resources are to come, but hopefully in the next few months something will be released. Next up is the Deep North biome, which is located at the north part of your world. It's a place entirely covered with snow, but you know, it's still in the works. And finally, the Ashlands biome, found in the south end of the world. It's got a red ground and is yet to be developed as well.